All right, thanks for joining me. In the last two videos, I kind of talked about what you may do to preserve mushrooms that you buy from market that aren't your standard mushrooms. And in this case, I'm using oyster mushrooms as the example. And so I talked about the three different, types of mushrooms you might find moisture-wise. And then I also described verbally how to preserve them, but now I'm going to show you what I meant by that. So the first one over here is the warm blue oyster that was very sturdy. It's a very sturdy mushroom. It doesn't have a whole lot of moisture compared to the other ones, and just variety wise, it's a great mushroom, but it's a little harder to grow than the summer whites during the summer. So anyhow, let me show you what I would do with a mushroom like that. With a mushroom like that, I'm going to put it in a Pyrex bowl. I'm going to, as you see, put a top on it that's sealed, and I'm going to put a dry paper towel on top of it. That's it. I trimmed them, stuck them in the bowl, stuck a dry paper towel on them, and I'm going to leave them in the fridge after that. I'm done. I think I've got quite a bit of time to eat these at this point. Now, I may change the paper towel out if I notice it gets very moist, and you would see droplets forming in here if that's the case, so you could visually see it. And then I just kind of change the paper towel out, and if the bowl's actually wet inside, I'll actually maybe even switch it to a different bowl that's dry. But anyhow, that's that one. This is kind of the medium one. This was a summer white, which is a great variety to grow in the summer. It can grow up to, 80, 85 degrees, but it's also very fragile. So unlike the warm blue oyster, this is just a fragile, higher surface area, more moisture wicking mushroom. But these were pretty dry. So in this case, what I'm going to do, as you can see, is I'm going to wrap it. Not individually, but I took the mushrooms and I put them in a Pyrex bowl with a paper towel that goes from the bottom around them and gives a little more wicking power to that. Now, these aren't going to quite last as long as these, most likely. And if I want these to last longer, I'm going to have to change the paper towel out at least every couple of days. Otherwise, it's just going to once again become so moist in there. So that's this one. Okay, the last one, the one I said that I would probably eat in 12 to 24 hours. Well, if I'm going to do that and eat them soon, I'm just going to do it just like these. I'm going to wrap them in a paper towel together, trim them, stick them in a Pyrex bowl, and eat them in a day. Okay, but if I'm going to try to preserve them for longer, let's say I buy them on a Saturday and I want to eat them on a Wednesday. Okay, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that because it takes a lot of work, but anyhow, this is what I would do if that was my desire. I would once again use a Pyrex bowl, but in this case, I'm wrapping them individually, almost. I'm wrapping them layered wise. So you can see I have two layers. I have a layer on top that I've wrapped, and then I have a layer underneath that I have also wrapped. So that's going to be a lot more moisture wicking for this variety, and that's going to be what you need to do. You need to pull that moisture out because that moisture allows those mushrooms to do what they do best, which is try to decay and look for decaying material they can eat. So they start eating themselves, which is what you see when you see mushrooms kind of develop another, what looks like almost a film over themselves. That's them producing, basically trying to eat themselves. Anyhow, and they will try to eat these paper towels too. If you left them in here, they would colonize the paper towels, in time. But anyway, I hope that is helpful. I'm going to go ahead and date these and put them in my fridge and come back in a few days and maybe a week or two and talk about how long they lasted and show them to you.